is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
you. Jamming, and I wanna like jamming too. Yo, this is Steve Marley, yo. And on May the 4th, I'll be in Immokalee at the Seminole Casino Hotel with the legendary Inner Circle. See? We see you there. Rastafari love. And I'm jamming with you, jamming, yeah. And I'm jamming to you.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard. Yes, sir. Woo, sun now breaking. Yeah, glare coming off those beautiful new Acura vehicles. Yeah. Woo. All right. Blinded. I was Manfred Man right now. I'm getting blinded by the light. Woo. All right. Welcome aboard. It is Friday. You made it. My voice is kind of making it, I guess, for now. We'll be back tonight again. Obviously, this is one of those weeks where it kind of puts a challenge into my voice because we got to do a lot of shows at once. We obviously last night addressed everything going on with Chop Robinson. I know a lot of talk and all that kind of good stuff. So I appreciate all of you out there. I know there's always a group of unhappy fans. I can tell you from some of the information that I have gathered, they got what they were targeting, basically. And they were targeting a defensive player, and they were not going to move out of there. They wanted Chop Robinson. And listen, all I hear are good things about Chop Robinson. I hear a ton of good things. By the way, let's see. Saw him play live a couple times. Good hustle, bend. Obviously, like everyone, can over pursue, but his demeanor and consistent pressure stands out. Right? This is one of my friends, scouts, professional scouts. These are real scouts. Outside speed rusher with a high level motor is another one, by the way. Has to evolve his pass rush game has to evolve his pass rush game from just speed and get off in the snap and add some power rush and counter move elements. But the skill set is there. I like the pick. He scouts for another team. He doesn't have to tell me that he likes the pick. Okay? Doesn't have to tell me that he likes the pick. Talked to a couple other guys yesterday. They love the character. I'll give you my favorite quote about him last night that somebody sent me. This kid wants to be a real pro. That's it. He goes to me, the guy's work ethic is off the charts. He's got great character, all of that. But he wants to be a real pro. Like, this guy wants to put in the work. This guy wants to be great. You know, that kind of stuff. It's not like I'm just looking for my NIL money. And, you know, let me go take my pics and let me go be on social media and it's me, and, you know, and create bullshit hype and all that kind of stuff. That's not what he's all about. He's a guy he's a character guy. And I know that people get all hung up with the whole sack stuff, but I remember Calais Campbell ran like a 5 in the combine, and he fell to like the end of the first round. And it was like No, Suggs. It was Terrell Suggs. That's what it was. Terrell Suggs felt like didn't he come out like of Arizona State or Arizona or some shit like that? Look it up or something. So Terrell Suggs comes out and he runs like a 5'1" or something, and he falls to the end of and he had, my God, I want to say he had like 36 sacks in his college career or something. It's like, and he ends up becoming, a great player. Arizona State, right? Okay. And then I remember Jason Pierre-Paul was a one-year wonder guy, and people are like, you're going to take a chance on a one-year wonder, and because you see a skill set there. Calais Campbell was a hell of a player. I think he fell in the back end of the first round also. And just, went on to have a Hall of Fame career. And Chop Robinson doesn't have a ton of sacks, but he has a ton of pressures that created interceptions, created incompletions, created sacks for others, created forced fumbles, and that's what they look at. But that's all right. All of you look at, so much film. Yeah, they want a disruptor. So now we will find out what happens here in the second round. Right? Where will the Dolphins go in the second round? You figure they got themselves a pass rusher. They're not going to go get another pass rusher, are they? Maybe they will. You figure they need an offensive lineman. Well, they had a chance yesterday, and they said no. So maybe they weren't as keen at what was left on offensive line for a first-round pick. Maybe there's a guard that they like in the second round. Maybe Jackson Powers Johnson falls to them in the second round. By the way, Kyle Krabs. Good call by him. He said Jackson Powers Johnson would last into the second round, maybe even to the Dolphins pick. Kyle might be right. Red Bull gives you wings. So, could they go receiver? Remember, there's a lot of receivers left. This is a very deep receiver class. They didn't take a lot of receivers. How many receivers did they take? I want to say it was 4 or 5. Yesterday, just 5, like 4 or 5, right? 6 maybe? Okay. So there's a lot of them left. I want you to think about this, as I've been telling you for a while. Now that everybody's on my bandwagon, by the way. As I told you, this is Tyreek's last year. He's done. Okay? I've been telling you this for a while. Tyreek is done. Message has been sent. He will not be back next year. It'll take a miracle for him to come back next year. I can already tell you that. Okay? I'm the guy that told you X was gone 2 years ahead of time and Byron Jones, right? I told you a year before that Wilkins was gone. You had all these people writing, oh, they're going to tag him. Oh, no, they can't let him go. He's the heart and soul. And I'm like telling you that he's gone, right? 7? Wow, 7. Still, there's a bunch left. There's still a bunch left. 7. Okay, so he's gone at the end of the year. You need a year to groom a guy, right? You got to pay Waddle next year because you'll pay Waddle next year. At some point, once the next year starts, you'll start to negotiate some kind of a deal. Might happen during the season, might happen at the end of the year, whatever. There's no hurry. So do not be surprised if they take a receiver here in the second round. I mean, I want Roque. You guys know who I want? Roque or whatever. I'll learn his name if they draft him. Okay? That's who I want badly. But they could take a guard center. They could take a wide receiver. Could take a guy that is a wide receiver / returner to kind of help out. So Just, and here's the other option that can happen in the second round. A trade down. There's a good chance that could happen. Wasn't going to happen last night. For them to trade out of that pick, you would have had to offer them, Jesus Christ, Blair. You would have had to offer them, you don't look forward, do you? Yeah, okay, that's why. Because I'm trying to look at the camera, but while I'm looking at the camera, I have the glare right there off of the hoods and all that. These nice, beautiful, shiny hoods. But, it's brutal in the eyes. So you could see a trade down also. Okay? So I know we could think of O-line, which is the obvious thing. Safety. But I don't think safety will be the call there. I think safety will be later in the third day. I'm pretty sure you can see that in the third day. But tonight, if they don't go a guard center, if they don't go a D tackle, which there's going to be a couple in that area, hopefully my boy Roque is there. If Roque is there and they don't take him, I'm not going to not say, oh, I don't like the pick because I got to know what it is first. But I really want that kid. I like him a lot, man. I like him a lot. So we'll see. But they could end up taking a receiver, or they could end up taking or dropping down and trading down so they can get an extra third round pick. That I could see. So these are things you want to look at right now because, a lot of people might not be looking at wide receiver. I wasn't looking at it for their number 21. Okay. All right. Anything else? As that old song, anything goes. Yeah. After that, anything goes. And that's why I want to tell you anything goes now in the second round. And wide receiver could be an option for them. In the second round, a trade down could be an option to pick up an extra third. So, hang in there. We might have more than one pick today. We might be talking about a wide receiver that is the future with this team, along with Waddle. Okay? Tyreek has no choice but to be a very good soldier this year. No matter what, even if the writing is on the wall. Do you know why? He will be a free agent next year. And he will need a new team. So he will need to be on his best behavior. Compadres? Because he's done. So, and if you see, they didn't go for any money from him in the offseason. He wasn't really a part of anybody's offseason stuff going on. He had a whole bunch of crap go on. If they add a receiver, that's like fast tracking and sending messages. Just so you'll know. There's a lot deeper. If you draft a receiver, there's a lot more to it. Okay? So D tackle, guard, center, trade down, wide receiver. These are all things. And if there's a trade down, look for a safety to be one of those extra picks. There's a good chance that could happen also. Or wide receiver and tackle. Or wide receiver guard. Or guard and D tackle. That's what those picks may be. Okay? Remember, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Again, thank you all out there for joining us last night. We'll be on again tonight. I'll come on like a couple of picks before our pick. What is it, 55, right? We picked 55. I will be on by like the 51st, 52nd pick. I'll be on because it's like 7 minutes, right? It's a little faster. 5 minutes it is. It was 10 last night. Maybe it's 5. Or maybe it's 7, then 5 from there on out or some shit like that. But whatever it is, I'll be 4 or 5 picks ahead, like 20, 25 minutes before. So we can I can start telling you about the guys that I do like that are left. and then we can kind of make a better determination, and then we can go over whatever selections are made. But I do want to prepare you for what could happen today. And today could be the day where you add a defensive tackle, like my boy Roke. Okay. You could end up adding a guard, a center here, maybe a project tackle. I doubt it. I would go more guard center. Wide receiver, as I said. Trade down is another option. And if they trade down and pick up an extra pick, it could be the positions that we talked about. And then safety, I don't think is in the mix at all in the second round. But if you do a trade down and you get an extra pick, he could be in that mix with the extra pick. Okay? Just like, Xavier Worthy was not ever going to be part of the 21. I laugh at all of you for that. I brought that up. Could they have traded back in to try to get him? Sure. But they weren't at 21. They took what they wanted in Chop Robinson. Remember, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin donation at the same time. Send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of stuff. Yes, sir.
All right. So it is 7 minutes tonight. Then it goes to 5 minutes for third through sixth and 4 minutes for the seventh round.
Okay. All right. JN, thank you for the love on the super chat. Chop looks more like Cam Wake, not downgrading Wake. Now it's up to the DC and D-line coach to maximize his abilities and development. Amen. Just like the O-line coaches. I agree. I agree, sir. Thank you very much. A-Rod, Chop Robinson was brought in for one thing only. Cheese and chop Josh Allen. Jason Taylor was deemed slow as a rookie. And too skinny. And he couldn't hold up against the run. He was injury prone. He was breaking down a little bit in the first couple of years. He got a couple knickknacks here and there, and people were worried that he wasn't going to be able to hold up. That's how it all is, bro. I've been around long enough. I've seen it all, dude. The true Fin fan in the house. Get in the chopper. The chopper. Come on, neighbor. Get in the chopper. Love it, true Fin fan. Paul Wickman, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Easy to know who Greer's going to draft. Just check the most injury-prone college player, and that's who Chris Greer picks. Chop Robinson has no injury history. Yeah, theory doesn't fly there, bro. What happened? Chop Robinson's not an injury-prone guy. What happened to that theory?
If that was the case, one of us would have been right? Because Newton, that was my pick. He had a broken foot.
And I wanted Latu.
And you wanted Latu, who both had injury.
Yeah, I wanted Latu, and he's injury-prone. He hasn't been injured for the last couple of years, but he had a neck fusion, bro.
What is it with the UCLA guys? Because that's where Jalen Phillips came from, right?
Yeah.
Before he came to Miami?
Yeah.
Same thing. He was a medical retire, and then he came back.
Yeah, because of the concussion.
His was okay.
But one of them was because it was a moped accident. It wasn't a football. You do know that, right? The Jalen Phillips one of the concussions was a moped accident. That's the one that kind of like.
It's just like everybody, it's the UCLA thing. It's medical retirement. It's comeback. It's wear 15. I just don't understand it all the way to where now it's like boom, and then all of a sudden they're first round draft picks.
Meanwhile, Sidney Crosby's had more concussions than Tua and Jalen Phillips combined. And he's played for 20 years. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players ever. But we should tell Sidney Crosby that he should have quit really early in his career when he suffered a bunch of concussions. Yeah, let's just tell him not to do what he loves to do and that he could have quit and he could have played for 14 more years. Yeah, let's tell Sidney Crosby that. Some of you out there, man, I really wonder how you get through life. Like, you never have injuries, you never have setbacks. I've worked through heart attacks. I've worked through foot surgeries. I've worked through all kinds of things. I went to work like days after my heart procedure. And then went back to the hospital for a second heart procedure, and then came right back to work again. And I've been working for 34 years. You know how many sick days I've taken? I think it was like 4 or 5 outside of the heart thing that I had to miss, obviously. There's something else too. I'm trying to remember something else. I forgot. Like, I don't understand some of you out there. You never go through adversity? And you want players, and like everybody wanted Tua to, not everybody, but a bunch of you wussies, because you must be wussies. You wanted Tua to quit right away. Like, some of you have no balls, no guts, no character, no toughness. That's what I say about you. If you wanted Tua to quit, you've got no balls, no toughness, obviously, in your world. Because if you're such a wussy for Tua, then you must be a wussy overall. You know what I'm saying? Fred Taylor had a bunch of injuries the first 4 years of his career. Then he figured out his body, and he went like on a run for 6 or 7 years without an injury. And he was very injury prone early in his career. Should he have quit? It's interesting when I spin it like that on you, right? Because there's some of you right now that are watching going, yeah, I was one of those people that was saying Tua should quit. So O is basically saying I'm a pussy. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Seriously, the gall. The lack of balls is really amazing to me for some of you. And so he has an injury history. And so what? So when a boxer gets knocked out, he should just give up. Oh, you got knocked out. It's over. That's it. You're never going to come back. Why? Sugar, why are you going to come back? Duran killed you. You're not going to win again. It's what we were supposed to do? Really? Wow. So Rocky was supposed to quit after Clubber kicked his ass. Then how would the movie work out then? Right, we wouldn't have gotten a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Or Apollo, yeah. Or Creed, or whatever. It's like, it's amazing. You think nobody suffers setbacks. You think they play the game of football and everybody's going to play scot-free. So Marino should have quit after the Achilles. Is that what we should have told Dan? Damn, Dan, you're not even going to repair the Achilles? Why even keep playing, dude? In fact, why did Dan Marino keep playing after the Achilles? He should have quit. It's baffling from some of you out there. Tons of players have had injuries. So they're supposed to just quit? Not come back and try? I could tell some of you never suffer any kind of setbacks, I guess. Your lives must be so beautiful. Never any adversity you face. Special. Some of you are very special, I got to say. JN, thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. He says, I trust more the GM than the fans and media. You should. Because the fans usually don't know much, and some of the media is already lost. So, yeah. Let's see. Jason Davis says, with drafting Robinson, is the Chubb trade a bad trade for Miami? No, why? He had 6 forced fumbles and like 10 sacks last year. He had a great year last year. Mike McDaniel screwed up his season by leaving him out on the field in a useless game, dude. That's exactly what you traded for. You know? So, I mean, and you're playing the results because he's going to miss a portion of this season. I don't play that game. He was tearing it up last year. He looked great last year. Nobody knows anything about Ezukama. I'll try to find out more if I can over this weekend. If I can do that, I have not bothered to ask. So there's no way I could have any information on that. Samuel says, Big O, I've worked through a server head trauma injury with a brain tumor and then had to have a tumor removed. Shaking my head. I hear you 100%. I mean, right? We treat these players, and yet we all have to deal with shit, dude. And so you have a couple of injuries, a couple of sicknesses, whatever. You shouldn't be a teacher. You shouldn't be a producer engineer anymore, Sean. Okay? That's it. Sean's got a bad knee. Well, no, you should give up on life. Yeah. No, Sean. I mean, why are you trying, bro? Say, why did I hire Sean? He has a bad knee. I hired an injury-prone producer. You know, if I go by you guys, Sean, right, Big O Greer. That's it. Orlando Greer. He hires injury-prone producers. Why should I hire Sean? He can't move as fast as the other guy that has 2 knees. You know, if I go by what you guys think, you know that you'd be shitting on half the people you work with and you love, because we all suffer ailments. We got creaky backs, we got a ruptured disc, we got whatever it is. I was with Alan Blanco yesterday from 3A Graphics. Okay? We're setting up the store finally, now that I can walk and all that. And you know what happened to him a couple weeks ago? He tore this ligament here of his bicep. So it rolled up here, right? And so this guy has to run an entire printing company. Maybe he should sell it now. By the way, interesting fun fact he told me about. Weightlifters, they cut that ligament out. Oh, you know about this. You would. Anyway, I just found that out yesterday. So they cut that ligament out, and it helps roll up here for the muscles. Yeah, to get the little beef. And because they don't need it. I had no idea. But he's in pain, for a couple weeks. Oh, dude, by your standards, he shouldn't run a business. Okay? I mean, God, why are you guys listening to me? Why are you even following this show? I've had a heart condition, a bad foot, an Achilles surgery. I've been effed up quite a bit here the last couple of years here. I'm a very injury-prone host. Maybe that's why I hire injury-prone producers. Interesting, right? When you look at it that way, nobody looks at it that way. That's kind of like why we're talk show hosts here, to kind of make you think, because it's kind of stupid. Lots of players suffer injuries. So Tom Brady should have quit when he blew out the knee ligament.
Well, I mean, we all would have been happier. That's true. That's a good point. It's a really good point. We would have been happy if you would have just hung it up right there at that point.
Tom would just listen to people. He's so hard-headed.
Right. Greg J., thank you for the love in the super chat. Wide receiver Keon Coleman would be a good one if we go wide receiver. I'm telling you, you could go defensive tackle here. You could go guard or center. But wide receiver is in play here at 55. The number 3 wide receiver is in play. And because Tyreek Hill is headed for his final year with the Dolphins, that is definitely, they may want to get a year jump to start developing a kid. So when they move on from Tyreek, the player that they draft in the second round steps in, Waddle becomes the number 1, he'll get paid accordingly, and you move on. Okay? The countdown's on. Countdown's on for Tyreek. His days are numbered. Okay? All right? I'm 3 for 3. Remember that. All right? I'm 3 for 3. I told you a year ago Wilkins was gone. I told you 2 years ago X was gone in 2 years, and then Byron would be gone in a year. I'm 3 for 3. Okay? I will be 4 for 4. Tyreek Hill is gone. History in the archives. Player, wide receiver is in play in the second round here. All right, let's go to David Furones with our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. Time to rock and roll. Welton Rayom, don't forget, call my guys, Jeff Welt, Daniel Rayom. They can help you. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, 954-966-4646. Call Welt and Rayom, and the consultation's free. So you can call, ask for Jeff Welt, and explain your situation, and he will tell you if you have a case or not. Good morning, Mr. Furones. Did you get some sleep?
Good morning. Yeah, some. I mean, it's a late night, Thursday night, and then you go into Friday, you start previewing day 2, thinking about all the possibilities, and then you go for another 2 rounds at night. We're going to get to be introduced to Chop Robinson here at the local media a little bit later this afternoon before the Dolphins get to making their second and third round choices. Well, just second right now. And so a long day and then another long day Saturday, but this is what you love, draft time.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you there. I went around the league a little bit, asked some folks. I did not get one bad review, mediocre, average review of Chop. Every one of my guys that I asked, they freaking love this kid. So what did you think overall of the pick? And I don't know what information you were able to gather around on top of all of that. Share, please.
Yeah, initially I wasn't the biggest fan. I just didn't think Chop Robinson at 21 would have been the pick. I was thinking of him maybe later if there was a trade down scenario. I definitely would have liked him. I was looking at those top 3 edge rushers when you're talking about Latu, who ended up being the first one taken. Dallas Turner, a lot of people had him first, and we were talking Jared Verse, like him and Turner would be long gone, and Latu was more of the choice, but interestingly enough, Latu was the first one. So as far as edge rushers by 21, I was hoping for one of those 3. But I've come around to Chop Robinson. The more I think about it, the more I look into him. And that 4.48 40 at his size, over 250 pounds, to run that speed is just incredible. He's a remarkable athlete. He has a high pressure rate, so he's winning a lot, or pass rush win rate. So he's winning a lot at the line of scrimmage, even though it hasn't translated so much into sack numbers that aren't necessarily jumping off the stat sheet or jumping off the page, but I think he's going to start getting to the quarterback once he gets a little bit more polished with hand placement. That was one thing that he mentioned to us that he still needs to work on in order to really start getting home. So I think once he starts getting that, he gets that NFL coaching. I think the Dolphins are really going to be pleased with what they end up getting with Chop here.
And it's exactly what I got from one of my guys that saw him live a couple of times. He goes to me, saw him play live a couple of times. Good hustle bend. Obviously, like everyone, can over pursue, but his demeanor and consistent pressure stands out. And so when he talks about over pursuing at times, that's what he's talking about, that he needs to use his hands so he doesn't over pursue and he can get around them quickly instead of trying to athletically, burst past them, because apparently his first step is like stupid. It's Jason Taylor like his first step is what I'm told. Like he when he comes off the line, it is a problem for offensive linemen, and they end up he actually forces them into penalties because he's so quick off the ball. He's super explosive. And I think that that's something that is going to be a plus for him. Once the thing is, now he gets to learn off Chubb and he gets to learn off Shaq. I mean, I know Phillips is there too, but Phillips is a youngin' himself. So I'm sure he can teach him a couple things, but really to have Chubb and Shaq Barrett around, that's what's going to help him. And then Anthony Weaver played his position. So Anthony's going to be able to, teach him. Plus they can rush him from inside. So you could actually see all four guys on the field at one time. Why? Because Phillips and Chop have success and know how to rush from inside. So you can use Chubb and Shaq on the outsides. So you could actually see at one point, if you want, the four werewolves actually playing, because Phillips and Chop have the ability to play inside, which then gives Weaver an opportunity on pass rush situations to really send the house. And this is why you also pick a guy like Chop. He can play outside and he can play inside.
Yeah, when we spoke to Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel, then it was even brought up to Mike McDaniel. We were asking him, do you even see possibilities of the three of them? Now you mentioned four, but three of them being Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and now Chop Robinson all together on the field at the same time. He gave us one of these, like he's a mad scientist coming up with something. And I think Anthony Weaver definitely has some of those plans in place. He also spoke, Mike McDaniel did, to the collaborative effort that went into this. So we know Anthony Weaver definitely loved this selection. He envisioned some things that he could really do with Chop. And Chop is really the player that Chris Greer said they targeted. He used the word targeted at 21. So it wasn't like, okay, it was a bummer when, there was a little bit of a run of some of the players we were seeing at 20. Actually, Fautanu, who we've been a fan of as far as a prospect. I mean, if he would have been available, that would have been a home run. I think everyone would have considered. But Chop Robinson was the guy that the Dolphins say they wanted at that spot, that they figured would be available. So
I would have to agree with you and with Chris, because that's exactly what I'm hearing from the building. They got exactly what they wanted. They they had offers to move out, but they weren't willing to move out. They wanted that kid. They wanted him badly. And then that also tells me that Weaver, this is the part I can't confirm yet, but Weaver must have been the freaking top cheerleader in the room for the kid. It must have been, So it's kind of crazy that I think people have to understand that, I think we've all learned this, right? Greer just doesn't go and pick whoever the hell he wants. He can do it and he'll do it, but he does go to his coaches, his big coaches, and say, what do you think? Do you like this player? Give me your input. So he does take their input. So that tells me also that like I told you, this is why when he said three guys, you think I said Shaq Barrett just because I'm guessing? No, because, I got something. And I was told that you could see that, because that's exactly what the plan is. You got a guy that can play inside and outside, and they got a Phillips who can play inside, outside. So now you got two guys that can actually disrupt from inside, and you have your two outside guys. So at one point or another, you will see all four. And that's why they wanted Chop, dude. They loved Chop. This is not like anything that they settled for or anything like that. If they were settling, they easily could have traded out, and they didn't. So that tells you right away that they wanted this kid in a bad way.
Yeah, absolutely. That third down defense that the Dolphins will have, that package that the Dolphins will be able to present, when it's third and long and you put all four of those guys on the field together, would be the scariest thing for any opposing offense. Because there will be wreckage for opposing quarterbacks on the horizon. So the Dolphins pass rush package will be feared, especially now. And assuming that Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb go through the offseason rehab that everyone hopes and for those guys, coming off the Achilles for Phillips and the knee for Chubb. And what a not trio, quadrant, whatever the word would be, before some, those guys would be all on the field together. And Anthony Weaver, he can take Chop Robinson and really work on some of those things because he has developed so many defensive linemen, the way he's coached them. And, edge rusher, whatever, nowadays, he's going to stand up as an outside linebacker, but still there is trench work that Anthony Weaver can work on him with, specifically that hand placement and sort of getting that quickness controlled so that he can take that quick first step, that get off that's so amazing, and then he can sort of control it as he goes through and not over pursue like we've mentioned earlier in the segment.
Well, that's the stuff that comes last.
Right.
Is learning how to work your hands at the top level. It's usually something that comes. That's the thing about Latu. That's freakish. And when you go watch Latu, the dude already has 5-year veteran moves in the NFL. And you're like, whoa, what the hell is this? You're like, holy shit. It's what's the name of the receiver we had here that went to he was drafted by the Raiders, then traded to the Cowboys, and now he's somewhere else. He's an exceptional route runner. The kid's from here. What's his name, dude? Oh, come on, man. Somebody help me out.
South Florida guy drafted by the Raiders, Cowboys.
Yeah, he went to the Cowboys. They traded him to the Cowboys, and now he's somewhere else, I think. Now they went to somewhere else. What's his name, dude? And then you go to the Northwestern? Right? A kid. Come on, man.
Are you talking about Amari Cooper?
Yes, Amari Cooper. Thank you. God damn it, bro.
Yeah, with the Browns.
Anyway, yeah. So Amari Cooper came out of college running routes like a 5-year NFL player. That's why Amari Cooper's so good. It's not that he's the most talented guy in the world. He is a technician. And so that's the beauty of a guy like Latu. That when you get him, you're like, holy crap, I don't even have to teach this guy how to play with his hands already. He knows how to play. He knows when to use his spin. He knows how to use leverage with his body, all of that kind of stuff. And that's where Jason Taylor or Chop Robinson or many defensive ends, they get to the league, dude, they don't know how to really use their bodies and the leverage and their length and all that kind of stuff. Chubb's going to teach him that now. Shaq's going to teach him that now. Weaver's going to teach him that now. Now he's going to learn his lesson going up against NFL tackles on how to do all of that, so because he's used to going up against college tackles. Now he's going to go up against veteran NFL tackles, which becomes a hell of a lot harder than what he was facing. So this is normal, what Chop is going to go through, my friend. It's normal. It really is.
Yeah, and you don't have to put him in a situation where he is counted on as this day one starter that you need him, now maybe one of them between Phillips and Chubb, they're not all perfectly ready to start the season, whatever the case may be. We can't predict several months down the road, and maybe he does end up starting week 1 or whatever. But when all are healthy, then he still has those guys to lean on right now. And then if down the road you start seeing what is someone between Phillips and Chubb, whether this year, next year, they don't quite return a form coming off their injuries. Now you have another contingency plan, so he can really be that guy down the road, and then maybe he's paired with someone else in the future. Just a guy that you could really hold on to for a long time and have as a staple to the defense potentially.
I'm with you. All right, so what do you think happens here in the second round? I've been telling folks here. I think you heard it when before coming on. I think there's a chance that wide receiver is in the mix now here because of the whole Tyreek situation. I think they could be a year ahead. So. Yeah, they could take an offensive lineman, a guard, a center, which is something. They could take a D tackle, like my boy Roque, that I absolutely freaking love. I really want that kid badly in the second round. They could trade down, I think. So what's David Furones of the South Florida Sun Sentinel say?
There's a lot of possibilities, and I mean, we were even hearing Chris Greer was thinking about getting back into the first round at the end of last night. So there's definitely players that the Dolphins like that are probably going to not last too long into round 2. So they pick at 55 right now. So you got to wait a little bit. So if they stay there, some of the guys that they want are probably going to be off the board. They can make a move to trade up. They don't have the third or fourth rounder this year to use, but they're going to have a lot of draft picks next year with all the compensatory selections coming in. So maybe that's the capital that they use. You mentioned wide receiver.
They got 3/3 next year, dude.
Right.
3/3 next year. All right. They'll have their first, their second, and 3/3. That's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you mentioned wide receiver, then sure, Keon Coleman's there. I really like him. 6'3". Obviously, you saw the catches he was able to make at Florida State. Adonai Mitchell out of Texas is still around. Ladd McConkey out of Georgia is one option. I mean, I'm of the mindset I want to see them go into the trenches. Defensive tackle Jerzon Newton is still there. There was a hubbub about him in round 1 to the Dolphins. So, yeah. I mean, and maybe even at 21. And then so now he's lasted into day 2. So
that's your boy, right? Johnny Newton? That's his boy, Johnny. That's yeah. Sean. Sean wanted Johnny Newton for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Johnny Newton, right. So, I mean, he'd be a good pick. Braden Fisk, also defensive tackle out of Florida State, who really tested off the charts at the Combine. So, Chop Robinson tested well. They want another guy up front that tested well. Then Braden Fisk could be a guy. Chris Jenkins, too, Michigan. Yeah,
I get mixed reviews on Chris Jenkins.
Yeah.
That one. Not all my guys like him, bro.
Yeah.
Not all my guys. Some of the guys are saying that they're giving Chris extra love because of his dad, and that he's all right, but he's probably should be taken a little later. That's what some of the guys are telling me. So I can just tell you ahead of time that I may not get great reviews on the Chris Jenkins kid, but that's just me. Anyway, what else?
Yeah, no, that's fair too. Yeah, and I mean, you look at O-line, a lot of guys. I mean, Patrick Paul, Texas tackle out of Houston. That could be a guy, a round 2 tackle that I like. Christian Mahogany's a guard that I saw training down here in South Florida ahead of the Combine, and I know he's a day 2 type of guy. He's another one I like.
Cooper Beebe
is still there.
By the way, Cooper Beebe's another guy that if they make a trade and they pick up a couple of extra picks, a Cooper Beebe could be a guy because he plays left tackle, left guard, right tackle, right guard. He plays 4 positions on the line. He's actually a pretty decent player, and you know how much they love that shit. So that could be one of those guys because he's big enough to play tackle, athletic enough to play tackle, physical enough to play guard, and athletic enough to move around and pull. So he kind of might fit what they do here, So that's another one of those guys you can look at. But again, you will not be able to contain me if they draft Roque or That's all I got to say. You won't be able to contain
me. And that's a good point. That's a good point on Beebe, the versatility on the offensive line. Because that's a big reason why a lot of people like Graham Barton, his versatility. That's why I myself mocked him. I did like it in a trade down scenario, actually, to the spot where he went. In my mock draft, I had the Dolphins trading down with the Buccaneers and then getting Barton at 26, and Barton ends up going 26, but to the Buccaneers themselves. But Jackson Powers-Johnson's still there too. I mean,
Good call.
Early
I
on
gotta
in
give
the
Kyle
whole mock
Krabs.
draft process, he was a big man.
Yeah, I got to give Kyle Krabs credit. He's told us on the show. He goes, I think he's going to be into the second round, possibly all the way to Miami at 55. And a lot of my guys said, yeah, he's clearly a late first rounder. So he even nailed it. And who knows? Maybe the guy lasts all the way to 55. That would be crazy.
Yeah, it would be. And he's a very strong lineman. Maybe not as athletic that you want in the scheme, but I mean, still, suffices it in that area. I think he's more power than his agility.
Yeah,
Christian Haynes, another one, guard, UConn. Zach Frazier too, West Virginia. So,
all right,
a lot of options, a lot of ways that this could go.
If it stays at 55, let me put you in an impossible position because I'm in one. I'm going Roko Rojo. Who you going with at 55? Be ready, Sean.
Okay. 55. So you want like someone realistic that could last into 55?
Yeah, well, yeah. Apparently, I was on crack yesterday with Latu and then Verse. Neither one lasted to 21, so I was way off on that.
Right.
So I failed there. At least your guy's still around. You could have taken Johnny Newton at 21, but then again, you could have traded down and waited for Johnny Newton, apparently. So we missed on our first round pick. So we're going to go with our second round pick. So let's fail all together. Since I'm going to fail forward fast, I want you to fail forward fast in Cam Cameron fashion. So give me one name and one name only in the second round for the Miami Dolphins if they stay at 55.
Okay, staying at 55. So I'm going to bypass a couple of like my top targets, thinking they go before then. And I'm going to just go ahead and say Braden Fisk, defensive tackle, Florida State.
Okay.
How about if he's there? And I'll give you one on offense too. I'll go Patrick Paul for the tackle. Let's say he ends up at 55 and they go there. But before then, Newton would be a choice. And I didn't mention Cooper DeJean. He's still there into the second round. So
Corner, yeah.
Right, corner, but he's versatile. He could be like a Swiss Army knife in the back end. Anthony Weaver might want to use him like a Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore. So, he's lasted in a day too. So I'd imagine he might be one of those targets that Greer was talking about, thinking about getting into the back end of the first round and now maybe trying to trade up in the second round. So, so much can happen.
Okay. Sean, give me a pick. What do you think?
Christian Haynes, Connecticut.
Yeah, I like
Guard.
that pick. UConn. I like it. I like that pick. Yeah, that would be like right there with BB, right there. I like Haynes. I probably could take Haynes in front of BB. I don't have a problem with that. That's a good one. I like that, Sean. All right, there you go. So, what do you got going on the Sentinel leading up to the draft, so Dolphins can check you out, my friend?
Yeah. Covered the Chop Robinson selection last night, obviously. So a bunch of stuff up on our site on that. And we'll get to know him a little bit more on a personal level today before round 2. So I'll have more Chop Robinson coverage and then build up into day 2. So a lot of stuff we talked about, what the Dolphins might do, O-line, D-line, wide receiver, all these different possibilities, trades, break that down. And then whoever the picks are, I got you covered.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at DavidFaronis _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. As always, my brother, appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend. We'll catch up on Tuesday, and we'll get a recap.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it. There you go. The great David Faronis. Call the great Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom. They are the best in the business. 954-966-4646. Consultations completely free. Their offices are beautiful offices are in Hollywood. Bankruptcy, personal injury, homeowner property damage, commercial litigation, condo damage, business owner claims, criminal defense. They can help you in any of this. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Let's go over some of the super chats. And remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We'll go over them now. Paul Wickham, thank you for the love in the super chat. Tannehill did more with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry than Tua could with Tyreek and Waddle and Achan. He calls him acne, but it's Achan. Okay, Paul, I love the donation. Sean and I appreciate it, really. That's a fucking stupid statement, bro. My God, that's a dumbass statement. That's a king-size stupid statement. Paul, let's talk in an educated way about football, my friend. You're talking about the Tennessee team. That glare is brutal. You're talking about that Tennessee team that Tannehill was winning playoff games by throwing 70 and 80 yards. Is that what you're talking about, Paul? Because they stick with the run and Derrick Henry, who would get 170 and 200 yards, and he was the offense? Is that what you're talking about, Paul? Because, if Mike McDaniel was running it, he would abandon Derrick Henry. Seriously, dude, if you think Tannehill was the straw stirring the Tennessee Titans drink, remember what I say, right? People watch the games, but they really don't know what they're watching. Paul Wickman, dude, I really appreciate the donation. But, you know what? You're paying for an education. Because since you have none, let's give it to you, Paul. My brother, please don't be saying stuff like this in public. It's embarrassing. It shows that you know nothing about football. Do you think that in 1973, when they won the Super Bowl that day, do you think it was behind the arm of Greasy? Or was it behind the defense, Zonka, Kick, and Morris? Nothing against Greasy. Love Greasy, Hall of Famer. But what really happened that day? What really happened throughout that season? Don Shula said, I have a dominant defense. I have a dominant running game. Why am I going to throw the ball a lot? Mike Vrabel said, I have a dominant defense. I have a dominant running game. I don't have a franchise quarterback. Why am I going to throw the ball a lot? I can win games with him winning by throwing 70 yards and 100 or 130 yards. Do you not remember, Paul? So I love the donation. I appreciate it. But I'm going to correct you no matter what. I'm not going to kiss your ass because you're making a donation. And you're saying something incredibly stupid and uneducated. And it doesn't fly here. You might get away on one of the chats because I may not see it. But if you super chat something stupid, you're kind of highlighting your stupidity. Thank you, Paul. But that was dumb. Anyway, Paul again. He told Bosch to hang it up over the clots. Tua has a grand seizure on the field and is still playing. Yes. Well, the blood clots, again, you're not a doctor either. Wow, Paul. Well, maybe he stayed at a Holiday Inn. Maybe. You're going to compare blood clots to a concussion. Paul, you're retire, bro, for a little while here. Just retire. Don't say anything. Just sit back, and maybe you'll learn a little bit more about sports before you actually talk. George Caravallo, thank you for the love on the super chat, sir. That is very kind of you. Appreciate you immensely. I can't believe somebody actually thought that Tannehill was the guy winning in Tennessee. Oh, my God. It's funny. Eric Nordstrom, thank you for the Cash App, sir. Appreciate you immensely. Thank you. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Jonathan Acosta. Thank you, sir. How about them Cats? Potential dynasty. Yes, sir. So let me see. View personalized note. I've never seen this. Very cool. How about them Cats? Potential dynasty in the making. Love the show. Wishing you both much health and blessed weekend. John Anthem Singer. This is John, the Panthers anthem singer. All right. Dude, let me tell you something, Jonathan. No, you're not on camera. Don't worry about it. The camera's aimed at me, so you're fine. Don't worry about it. Jonathan, what we're watching is what I said before, is we're watching a changing of the guard. And now people can really see it because it's up 3-0. I mean, Florida's the better team. Okay? The Lightning are great. They have legendary players, They got a goaltender that is a god. You know what I'm saying? They got guys. But this team is better. And Dynasty, this is 5 straight years of making the playoffs. You've now been to the finals. Now you've got a chance to really win in the finals. We're going to get a little ahead of ourselves of Dynasty. But because you got to win 3 to call it a Dynasty. So let's first get to 1, and then we can start talking about 2, and then we can then start getting into the Dynasty talk. But you're not getting the Dynasty if you don't do what you've done the last 9 years. You know what I'm saying? So I am with you 1,000% because Viola and Sifu, listen, I got nothing but praise for these guys constantly at their commitment, I've praised them for everything that they've done, how they've committed to their players. I use them as an example to the Marlins, who are a bunch of little whiny bitches that all they do is complain and point fingers, yet they never do anything on their own. Yet the Panthers make every commitment and point no fingers. None. Even when they were committed a couple of years ago and signing their players and all, and they still weren't getting the packed houses yet. But they understood they had to turn the corner and prove to people. They didn't point fingers. They just kept their heads down. They kept working, and they kept building the right way. Viola and Sifu get it. Caldwell is an ass kicker. This is a great organization. And then you get Paul Maurice to be the guy that really changes the culture, the way they had to get to become more physical because they were too finesse, right? They were just way too finesse and easily pushed around. God, I would get pissed to watch Trocheck just get trashed by everybody, and we did nothing, dude. Now you mess with our players, we're going to F you up. And I love it now. So way ahead of ourselves for Dynasty, but the foundation to get to Dynasty is what's being built. So I'm with you, man. The Cats are for real. So thank you, Jonathan Acosta. I appreciate you. Deep Gwyn, thank you. Made a Bitcoin donation. Love it. Love it. Nothing like a Bitcoin donation, man. Appreciate that, man. That is very nice of you, sir. Very nice of you. You know, I love my Bitcoin donations, man. Nothing beats that. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. I really cannot believe somebody thought it was Tannehill that was doing any kind of winning in Tennessee. Oh, my God. John Acosta, thank you for the love in the super chat. Great take on the Cats. Thanks again. Appreciate you, my man. Cats are they're impeccable. Big O, I never realized that many in the chat are expert GMs as well as doctors. So impressive. I know, right? A blood clot. I don't think he realizes how debilitating the blood clot is. How it can actually kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like weirdest thing.
Brooklyn Rob says Paul needs a Snickers bar.
Yeah, Paul needs a huge break, bro. Paul needs a huge break. We love you, Paul, but my God, Paul. He's got really? No, I don't care about stats. Tannehill in big moments doesn't look like it. He doesn't? All right, Paul, I get it now, bro. You're a drug addict. I got it, bro. You got problems with alcohol. I got it, bro. You got issues. It's all right, bro. You know, there is places you can get help, Paul. There really is. I mean, Tannehill doesn't look like a deer in headlights. Did he watch what got him benched?
Don't look at the facts.
Oh, God.
He also came back with
no, I mean, I don't know if I can take any more Paul Wickham.
Chop has bust written all over him.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's plenty of people can, you can throw that out. The other, see, that stuff is unrealized. He could be right and he could be wrong on that one. The other stuff, he's completely wrong and completely dumb. We take a break. Hour number 2 is next.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding. With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Jamming, I wanna jam it with you. Jamming, and I wanna like jamming too. Yo, this is Steve Marley, yo. And on May the 4th, I'll be in Immokalee at the Seminole Casino Hotel with the legendary Inner Circle. See, we see you there. Rastafari love. And I'm jamming with you, jamming, yeah. And I'm jamming too,
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, coming to you live, baby, as always, from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. Come on by and say hi. As always, we'll be out here having some fun. So appreciate all of you out there. If you want to come on by and join us. By the way, they've got the Spring into Performance sales event going on, and I'm checking out a fleet of brand new cars, certified pre-owned vehicles. The lot, again, is overflowing because they've got to park it in places where they don't have parking spots. So right now, you can get 1.9% financing for 36 months, and you can get on 2024 Integra, $299 a month, the RDX, $419 a month, and the MDX, $489 a month. They also have terrific certified pre-owned vehicles. You can check them out. If you own or lease an Acura, please come out here and see Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. They do excellent work, and their service center is second to none. They've got a beautiful lobby there where you can relax, got a cafeteria and everything. If you want to order yourself a sandwich, a pastelito, some kind of a soft drink, whatever it is, they've got free water, complimentary water for you, a small refrigerator there. While you're waiting, TVs, everything really comfortable. So if you're waiting for your oil change, tires, whatever it is you're doing, battery, whatever it is, you can, wait for it comfortably here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. They do a really nice job. And tell them that Big O sent you, man. They will take care of you, I promise you. They are the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. True Fin fan. Thank you for the love on the super chat. He goes, I think Paul should do a podcast. #genius. Yeah, that would be good. Dougie Fresh says, I don't think the music group called The Beatles will ever get a gig. Also, Selma Hayek is too flat-chested. Oh, you want an investment? Facebook from Paul Wickham. Oh, I love it. Steven says, we had a limited fake Paul Wickham on the other side of the chat. It's actually Ryan Tannehill. What else? Paul Wickham stopped drinking if you think Tannehill is the reason the Titans were good. He sent another super chat. So tell me Tua playoff stats, Tannehill versus Tua. Those are the games that count. Oh, has Tua been to 4 or 5 playoff trips? He's been a 1, dude. He's been a 1 in a terrible situation. So we'll see when as the career develops how it goes. I do know this. Tua was in the MVP talk the last 2 years. I don't think that you can say that about Ryan Tannehill. So I'll go with that. And I'll go with Tua, who won a national championship, whereas Tannehill was benched in college. He was moved to another position in college. So I'd be surprised if Greer picks O-line, he said. Again, last night, they're happy with the O-line. I can tell you this. By picking Chop Robinson, that tells me that there wasn't a lineman that they liked there, clearly, right? Because if there was a lineman that they liked better than Chop Robinson, they would have picked him. So you could be right. But then again, they might think, okay, the guys that were left at 21 weren't worthy of the pick, not Xavier. And so we're not going to go there. We're going to go Chop. This is the guy we like. This is the guy we target. Boom. But now when you roll around the second round, my friend, they might think it might be a value pick at that point with one of those linemen. So I understand the way you're looking at it. Okay, I'm going to disagree with you. Not like a Paul Wickman disagree. That's just terrible opinions. Your opinion is solid. I like it. I understand it. But I'm going to disagree that I still think there's a chance they could find like the guy he wants in the second round. I think that a Christian Hayes would be a responsible offensive line pick in the second round. The BB kid would be a responsible pick in the second round. So I think there's a possibility that they still could go lineman in the second round. Now, I also think they could go receiver, and they also could go defensive lineman, like D tackle. Okay? And then trade down. So all of those scenarios are all there. And I understand it's like the guy that chimed in last night about you can't have enough corners. And he was talking about I think they could have taken a corner at 21. And I can't argue with that. I felt they weren't going to take a corner at 21 or a wide receiver or a quarterback. I think that those discussions were the corner's not as bad, but the receiver and the quarterback at 21, that's like stupid talk. That's just talk to just create talk. But I get the whole cornerback thing, just like I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to disagree. I think there's still a chance they could go lineman in the second round. I really do. Let's see. Miles Deep, let's start. What's up, my brother? Greetings, Owen Sean. Great win yesterday on both fronts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, the vegan next to her is screaming about how many ducks were murdered making the tape. I don't know what that means. I guess it's to Dougie. What?
Dougie wrote, Paul's like the drunk Karen on the plane who's already duct taped to the seat and keeps yelling about her rights. Guess what you read was the response.
Oh, I see.
To Dougie.
I see. Anyway, so all good. Paul just trying to create entertainment, I guess, where there isn't any. It's all good in the hood. Let's go with our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? Panthers last night, they got it done. 5-3. They take a commanding 3-0 lead on the Lightning in the best-of-7 series. You know what I loved about watching that last night? Did you see how dejected the Tampa Bay Lightning players were on that bench? Like, they were legit dejected.
Yeah, because I think they played their game and thought they would win, and in the end,
but I is it just me? But when I looked at their faces, they were like, "We're screwed. There's no way we can beat these guys 4 straight." Like they looked like it was like overmatched, and like all of a sudden, reality hit them. And I'm watching that. I'm like, wow, dude, like you can see how depressed they all of a sudden got. And when they scored that empty netter, and he made sure he got close enough to really bury the shit out of that. He was not going to miss. That was awesome. Kachuk with 2 goals last night. Lawrence, by the way. How about Lawrence with that goal, man? What a pass. That was absolutely beautiful. Reinhardt with the goal. Forsling with 2 assists. Montour with the goal. That was just absolutely awesome, dude, yesterday. And listen, it's they've earned this. They've worked their way up the ladder, improving, taking their lumps. It's been so impressive how the Panthers have grown up as an organization under Viola and Sifu. So beautiful. And let me tell you, they have done things that are uncomfortable. To fire Dale Talon took some balls, okay? And to make the Kachuk move and to make the Bob move years ago, and it did not work out early on. And now it took years later for the Bob move to start paying off for itself. You know, the things that they've done to improve themselves, just absolutely amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing. Game 4, by the way, will be Saturday at 4 o'clock there in Tampa. Saturday, the Heat are back in action on TNT at 6 o'clock. Game 3 of that series, it is tied at 1 game apiece. Also on Saturday on the pitch in New England, the Revolution will be hosting InterMiamiCF at 7:30. And tonight, the Marlins will start a set against the Nationals. The Marlins are 6-20, but the Nats are 10-14. This is the suck series. All right. Trevor Williams, who's 2-0 and a 2.91 ERA for the Nationals, taking on Jesus Luzardo, who's 0-2 and a 6.58.
Actually replaced that. Luzardo has been scratched.
Oh, he has?
Yes. I saw it come across. I can't find it.
All right. Doesn't matter.
Here it is.
The suck series.
He has elbow discomfort, so he is scratched from his scheduled start today.
You don't know who's replacing him with? That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Make sure you call Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics for some custom printing and embroidery. 786-618-1443.
Right-hander Anthony Maldonado will start Friday's series opener in his place, making his big league debut. He's Miami's number 18 prospect with a 2.31 ERA with 2 saves and 8 relief appearances for the AAA Jacksonville team this season.
Nice. Nice. Watch him lose 2 of 3 to these bums. It's crazy, man. It really is. 100-loss season again. Just baffling. But anyway, well, I'm not going to bog the show down talking about baseball. That would be...
Did you see my boy Tony Khan last night during the draft?
No. What happened?
On Wednesday night, they did an angle where they pile drivered him, and he was on the draft wearing the neck brace, selling his injuries.
Interesting.
With all that, and actually, Shad Khan made an appearance on AEW Wrestling to come out because his son was laid out. Because I guess everybody's in town for the draft, so
right.
It was at Daly's place where
the
Jacksonville, the Brain Trust is there. Yeah, so that's where the matches were. That's kind of their home stadium for AEW because, of course, they own it, so you can have it there whenever.
Right.
But yeah, he went in and full sell job. Fantastic job by Tony Khan.
All right, I like it. I see you got Cutter's Edge Pro there. William Quigley and the great people. 954-472-0622. Tree trimming, removals, landscape design, outdoor lighting. Their synthetic turf is just absolutely, it's heaven. Heaven, folks. And I tell you all the time, if you have dogs, the artificial turf is the best for maintenance and everything. It is absolutely beautiful, man. So call our folks at Cutter's Edge Pro, 954-472-0622. And we might as well. We usually got to pick an MVP of the night, right? Well, let's go with our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
His name is Matthew Tkachuk. He ended up with 2 goals on the night. And I'm going to tell you, he's the MVP for many reasons. There's a lot of players. We can pick Reinhardt. We can pick Bob. We can pick Paul Maurice. We can pick the GM. We can pick the owners. We can pick a lot of people MVP because there's a lot of MVPs with the Florida Panthers. Okay? Tons of MVPs. Verhaeghe is as clutch as it gets. I could call him an MVP. I mean, seriously. But I'm going to go with Matthew Tkachuk because since he got here, he is the star you needed. He's the instigator. when you talk about one of the things they used to say, Christian, well, the heart and soul of the defense. Well, Matthew Tkachuk is the heart and soul of the Panthers. Okay? He is the pulse of the Panthers. And what I love about Matthew is if you need him to score, he scores. If you need him to be a pest, he can be a pest. If you need him to get physical, he'll get physical. If you need him to fight, he'll fight. And if you need him to assist, he will set his teammates up gladly. He has that Jimmy Butler quality to him, that he has a selflessness to him. But he knows the moment that he says, my team needs me to be selfish. You know, that trigger that Bam doesn't really have, he has that trigger because he's that guy. He's it. And I just want to give Matthew Tkachuk the love because I know he didn't get the amount of goals that Reinhart did, but he got a bunch of assists and he played a great. He let the game and his team come to him, and he did exactly what his team needed. And I love that as a superstar, he can control himself to that level, because considering how emotional he is, you would think that he would want all the power and the glory, but he's not really like that. It's interesting, you know? So Matthew Tkachuk is my Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
Again, Bitcoin down to 63,443. We're in the middle of a nice little drop right now. I like it. I like this. I think this is good, man. Every little drop is great before the next pop, because when it pops to 90, you're going to regret that you didn't take advantage of it. And I can't wait to show you what we have collected during this dip, because it's going to be just a beautiful example of it, man. So it's pretty cool. We've already collected like 4% of a Bitcoin throughout this dip. And it's you're going to see, man. You're going to see. It's going to pop, and when it pops, I'm going to show you, and you're going to go, why do I have my money in the bank? You'll see. You will see. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, you can also make a Bitcoin donation. We will be on Sunday, but I will wait till the end of the 7th round. I'm not going to come on. What do we have? We have a 5th and a 6th and a 7th, right? Right. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to come on after the 5th and then after the 6th and after the 7th. I'll wait till the 7th is done. I'll wait till the draft is done, so I know that Chris Greer is done. Is what I'll do, because you can't. He's wheeling and dealing constantly. He's probably doing it right now as we speak, trying to move into the early part of the 2nd round or something. Who knows? But his crazy ass. So I'll wait till the 7th round is done, and I'll be on Saturday after that to recap. So look for that. Also, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you know when we go on live. Okay. But I will be on tonight after whatever happens. Okay. What happened now? What happened with Dolph Freaky?
Well, apparently, I don't know if anybody read it last night. The draft got overcrowded. They had to stop.
Yeah, so cool, man. They had 275,000 people there. I'm so happy for Lions fans, man.
Yep.
Really happy for you Lions fans. I doubt there's any Lions fans watching, but man, you guys deserve as much happiness as possible.
And that opening was pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great opening, except for Goodell. He just doesn't act well. But they've been waiting over 70 years, dude. These people haven't smelled success since the 50s. So we're talking generation after generation after generation after generation. God bless you, Lions fans, dude. If the Dolphins can't win it this year, I don't mind if the Lions win it. I really don't. I will root for the Lions. if it's not my Dolphins. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, so I guess she was in Detroit for the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
They got hungry and they left for dinner and drinks, and they maxed out while they were there, so they were left outside the gate.
Oh, wow. Did she get in at all for the Dolphins pick?
I don't think so.
Oh, pobrecita. Yeah. She's so likable. Dolph Freaky is as likable as it gets. She works so hard. She's a good mom, good wife.
And Finn
incredible
Sasson was
fan.
there. He was going to be the one walking out with
Big
the
E was there.
Yeah.
Chris Barker was there. What's it called? Oh, damn it. What's this guy's name now? Now I'm blanking. The one that puts on the mask.
That's Finn Sasson.
That's Finn Sasson.
Bob.
Bob.
I
Exactly,
call him
Bob.
Finn Sasson, yeah.
Bob was there. He's always there.
Well, he was going to do the walk out. He got the card. I don't know if you saw the picture on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
He's got the pick.
Oh, okay.
But since Chop wasn't there, they left it off.
Okay.
But yeah, he was, I think, elected by the dollar. However they do
The
it.
fan base?
The fan base to
He's a good
be the
dude, man.
card. So yeah.
He's a good dude.
Very good dude.
Yeah. We got a lot of people.
No. Our fan base
Sports
is
Babe
great.
was there too,
Yeah.
you know, with her fiance.
Mhm.
Always by her side. Yeah, I saw some of our hardcore
Yes.
Dolph fans that are there. I follow them all the time, so yeah, definitely. Let's see. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, did you see that the Eagles extended AJ Brown? Maybe we can afford to keep Waddle and Hill. Do you listen to the show, Devin? Do you listen to the show? Remember, we're the only show ahead of all the writers in town, ahead of any podcast, ahead of any, well, there's only one radio station left, but I mean, those people don't even break wind on that station. We're the only ones that told you, right? We told you 2 years ahead of X, a year ahead of Byron. We're the only ones that told you that Wilkins would be gone. Have I not told you that Tyreek is gone? Tyreek's gone, my brother. He's done. It's over. Okay? Every indication that you see, they've given up on him. They won't tell you that. They'll never say that. But just look at what's going on in the landscape. They've given up on him. Okay? Tyreek now is playing for himself this season because he needs to play for another team to pick him up. Okay? I'm 100%, I'm telling you. 100%. Okay? I don't miss on these things. I mean, the track record is there. All you got to do is watch, and it's all there. Nobody tells you somebody's going to get fired in the middle of a winning streak. Only I do that. Okay? So I'm just telling you, I'm pretty good about when people are going to get fired or released. I don't know, but it's all there. And Tyreek Hill is playing his final season with the Miami Dolphins. There will be no Tyreek Hill in 2025. Unless the Dolphins are in the Super Bowl and deep in the playoffs, that is 2025. That's the only part of 2025 he will be with the Miami Dolphins. But in March of 2025, he will no longer be a Miami Dolphin. Okay? I promise you that, Devin Jordan. All right? So trust me on this. Trust me on this. If there's anyone you can trust on this, trust me on this. Yes.
The Sportstradamus has spoken.
So, there you go.
I just didn't want to cut you off in the middle of your thought before.
No, I mean, I appreciate it, but, you know, I'm just saying, it's just, writing's all on the wall. I tell you guys this all the time. Watch, really pay attention to what they're doing. They'll kind of tell you what they're doing. And that's it. They asked no money from him. They needed it badly. And Brandon Shore, brother, you know what? I'm an idiot. That's your Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of that. I got to give him one of those too. Brandon Shore, he needed money from Tyreek badly, and he went and found cap space everywhere else but Tyreek because they are moving on, and next year is the window to move on. And since they can't control him off the field, because they can't, it's time. It's over. And so what Brandon Shore did this offseason was Andy Ellisberg genius-like, that it's the shit that we've seen from Andy for years now with the Heat. Same thing here, dude. What he did was absolutely magical. So give Brandon Shore our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night. You got it?
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right, let's talk a little Canes with the one and only in our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report with Manny Navarro.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your InterMiamiCF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or InterMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where InterMiami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
The one and only Manny. Manny, before I go to you, Oz on the chat board, explain yourself, Orlando. Why do you think that about Tyreek? I already have Oz. The show is there. You need to listen more often. We drop nuggets all throughout on the Dolphins constantly. I've already explained why Tyreek is gone at the end of the year. Okay? I do this all the time. And so I already did this with Flo. I did this with X. I told you X was gone 2 years ahead of time and Byron Jones a year ahead of time. So I have already explained that you did a segment already on it, right? You did a segment somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, it was the one where you were talking about the Tyreek needs to focus on the team.
Tyreek
team
needs
success
to focus
a month ago.
Yeah, like a month ago. Okay, I already gave everybody. That's why everybody's kind of on the bandwagon now of the Tyreek thing, because we talked about it here on the show. He's gone. He's done. Okay, I've explained it over and over again. The writing's on the wall. It's over for him. I'm telling you, he is playing this year for someone else next year. That's why I also told you receivers in play tonight in the second round. All right, let's do it. Manny, just when you thought he was gone, he sucks you right back in. We got Manny Diaz's protege with the Miami Dolphins, baby.
That's right.
How about that, Chop Robinson? And what do you think about that? Huh? What'd you think? Because I got to tell you, my NFL guys love the hell out of this kid.
Yeah, I think the only question with Chop is production, right? Because he didn't have gaudy numbers. But I think in terms of his raw ability and his skills and what he can do for this defense that's obviously had its issues with injuries on the defensive line and edge rush and the edge rusher position, like, to me, it was the smart pick to make at 21. He was the best available, I think, at that position, and I think the Dolphins did a good job getting a guy who but for all intents and purposes, real smart, and I think good enough to fit in the scheme here, and to be a solid, I don't know, 8 to 10 year NFL starter, maybe with a couple Pro Bowls if things pan out the way you hope.
By the way, I was dying to have you on because, I love talking about things and then using different angles to kind of teach people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have some questions about Chop Robinson. Okay, fine. Do you question Manny Diaz when he starts talking about defensive ends?
No.
How
No,
about
not at
that?
all.
When you start
No.
thinking about his history, right? Miami and now here Penn State and all that, that mother effer kind of knows that position. He seems to find people that know how to play that position. And
Yeah.
we may not be convinced of him as a head coach or whatever, but there's no denial that he's one hell of a defensive coordinator. And if a Dolphin wants to at least feel a little better about Chop, well, if Manny Diaz is coaching his ass up and he's respected by others, there's a reason there. And so he has a nice track record already at the U with this. This is something that maybe translates a little bit, and maybe Dolphins should kind of maybe look a little bit more big picture at it and say, hey, maybe there is something more to Chop here, because if you add Manny Diaz to the mix and you're objective about it, Manny Diaz, the D coordinator, you got to say, well, wait a minute, hold on. Maybe there's something to this kid.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, and you obviously, Jalen Phillips, Greg Rousseau, two guys that were first rounders that came from his system. I mean,
Quincy kid.
Yep. Yeah. Quincy Roche, who was another solid player for Miami, an NFL guy. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that came out of that defensive line in the last couple of years, and they came here in large part because of Manny Diaz and developed because of Manny Diaz. So to get another one of those Manny Diaz guys at that particular position, to me, I look at those results over anything else.
We have a Manny Diaz guy already.
Yeah, exactly. You already have one, and he's pretty damn good.
Like, nobody mentions this. Nobody talks about this. But of course, on this show, we're going to give you different angles. We're going to come from different. Like it's funny. Like I spun it on people today. When Tua got concussed, right?
Right.
It's like, oh well, a lot of people are like, oh, he should quit football, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, you should have told that to Sidney Crosby his first couple of years, and he would have never had a Hall of Fame career. He's still playing, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, a couple championships. That's what you would have taken away from him. And it's funny because then I spun it the other way. I said, so all of you out there, you never have setbacks in life? You never have injuries? You never have health concerns? Brother, I've had a heart. I just went through an Achilles thing. I mean, it's funny how we don't quit. We go forward and move ahead and fight through injuries and illnesses and setbacks. Yet we're so quick to tell players, oh, yeah, no, you need to quit. No, you're injury prone.
Yeah.
It's like, and you don't look at it the other way for us in life, that just like a player and just like a human being, you're going to have setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And you fight through them. Do you have the character, the determination and all that kind of stuff? And those are the measurables that you have to figure out with a player. Now, if their knee has deteriorated, well, now we can't do anything about that. You know what I'm saying? If he's got no cartilage, then, well, we can't do anything about that. But if he had an injury or here or there, if the guy is a quality person and knows how to get back, you can then trust the individual and take the chance.
Yeah, I think Jalen Phillips is sort of the perfect example of that, right? You think about his UCLA career, the neck injury from the accident that he was involved in, and them telling him he shouldn't play football anymore, and the guy comes back, becomes an All-American at Miami, and is a first-round pick. So now he's dealing with the Achilles. I have no doubts that guy is going to come back and be a stud still. So yeah, I trust Manny Diaz guys on defense. There's no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kind of, I was so looking forward to having you on, because it's not directly Canes.
Right.
I know it's NFL draft, but it is Canes related. And then there's a DNA involved, even with the Dolphin draft pick, that kind of ties it to the Canes because of Manny Diaz and his propensity to find defensive ends.
Yep.
And so he, maybe that makes Dolphins feel a little bit better, overall. So when is the first Cane off the board? Does it happen at all tonight?
I think it's possible. I was looking at ESPN's best available,
Right.
and they have Cam Kitchens 80th
Yeah.
right now. So if you do the math, no, it's not going to happen tonight. He'll be a fourth rounder. I think that's the safe bet. But, look, Cam is a bright guy. I think there's probably, he's probably done a bunch of interviews with different teams. If anybody likes him and wants him in the third, somebody might need a safety, might take him in the third. So I think that's probably the most likely scenario.
Dolphins could trade down, get an extra third.
Yep.
Weaver likes safeties. They need
Yep.
a third safety.
Yeah, those are all possibilities, man. And you know what? Cam's one of those guys. He's not the fastest, but
he kind of fits what they would do.
Yeah, he really does.
Because you use Holland as your center,
Mhm.
and you bring him closer to the line.
Right.
And so now he's covering not receivers, but he might be covering a tight end or a back, or he's rushing or helping you on the run and those kind of things. And I think then he becomes much more effective if he's playing strong or closer to the line. That he's like a half linebacker, half safety like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I think he's a guy that plays a lot on special teams, makes a lot of plays for NFL teams that way. And is just sort of a backup safety who maybe one day gets in the right situation and it gets the opportunity to start and surprises people, right? And people say, man, where did he sort of come from? He was a fourth round pick, and what did he do? But he had a great NFL career. So we see a lot of those guys, especially in the secondary.
Yeah, and again, Cam is a guy that we like him a lot. We saw him a lot, right?
Right.
Now, here's the funny shit, bro. So now when he goes to another team and another fan base that didn't watch him, well, they're drafting him on potential, right? Because he can grow into it. It's funny, right? But now we have Dolphins losing their minds because the current pick, Chop Robinson, didn't have 10 sacks last year. He had 4 or 5, I think it was, or whatever.
Right.
And but his pressures were through the freaking roof. And so they love that he's super disruptive and they think everything else will, kind of work out. But again, they don't want to accept the potential of, how much he can grow into it. But yet you'll accept Cam Kitchens because you were here in his backyard and you were watching him going, no, dude, that guy does some special shit at times that he could grow into one heck of a player. It's funny how you're willing to say it about Cam Kitchens, but not the guy you watched every day in Chop Robinson.
Oh, that again goes back to my opinion of Miami fans in general. They live in their own bubble. They don't sit there and really study the rest of the college football world. And that's why I like working at The Athletic, because I feel like I get that perspective working with people all around the country that follow sports the same way I do. And, I just think that's the issue we have here. We live in our bubble down here in South Florida. We don't really pay attention to anything else.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, man. Anything else on the recruiting front?
Well, I mean, this is a big weekend for the transfer portal. They got a lot of guys down here, over the next few days, even the beginning of next week, that they're sort of chasing. They've had a couple guys leave. They need a defensive lineman after losing Jared Harrison Hunt. I think they need another experienced guy. They've got a couple guys from Michigan State coming in. Derek Harmon and Simeon Barrow Jr. are two guys that'll be, visiting early next week. There's an edge rusher from Tennessee, Tyler Barron, a guy who had a few sacks last year, I think 6 sacks. One of the better edge rushers in the portal. And then, of course, Damian Martinez, the running back from Oregon State. Sam Brown, the receiver from Houston. Linebacker Jalen Alderman, who's a starter for Louisville. And then cornerback Dione Hill from Marshall. Those are all the guys that are sort of visiting here beginning today and the rest of the weekend. And they're going to try to make an impression on. And, right now I got them about 83 scholarships. So they're going to still have to probably cut a few more guys between now and the start of the fall. But I think, those are guys like Zion Nelson who have injury history, right? They're basically don't have much of a career anymore. Guys who maybe are just academic guys that turn into students and don't play football anymore, which you see that happen at times with guys who just, so I think they'll be fine in terms of space, and people always worrying about, they're going to be at 85. Who do they got to get rid of? I think they'll probably add 4 to 5 guys and cut maybe 2 or 3 more, and they'll be at the 85, and they'll have their team for the fall. Damian Martinez is the big pickup because they need a true number 1 running back with Mark Fletcher sort of dealing with the foot. So if they get him, I like where their squad is. I just don't think there's a lot of great DBs available. So this Dione Hill guy, played in the system already for Lance Guidry and for Chevis Jackson at Marshall, and he was a 9-game starter last year. Yes, he's not a elite number 1 cornerback, but if he's your number 3 guy and you can count on him, then that's a good pickup.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. What are you working on the Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
I just put out a new podcast yesterday with Carlos Ledo talking about everything we just talked about now, answering some questions about the NFL draft. Oh, this is an interesting stat I'll throw at you that I talked about in my podcast. There's been 6 Hurricanes drafted in the first round since Kenny Phillips. Miami had a 14-year streak of first-round picks that ended in 2008. Can you name all 6 Hurricanes who've gone in the first round since 2008?
Since 2008, all the first rounders.
There's
my
6.
Lord.
There's only 6 of them. There's not a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of one right now. Well, obviously Miami.
Yeah,
James Phillips is definitely one of them.
We mentioned the other one earlier.
Oh, Roche, yeah, Quincy Roche. No, he was
not a first rounder.
Third. Oh no, he was a second. The other Rousseau was a second. I'm pretty sure he was like the 50th.
Rousseau was a first rounder. That's one of the first rounders.
First rounder. Okay, so there you go. So that's 2.
Yep.
So Rousseau and Phillips. Jesus. Let's see if the chat board can get it. Yeah, no, I gotta depend on the chat board now. Let me see. I'm trying to remember.
Since Phillips in 2008, there's been 6. I'll give you the positions. Okay, one of them was a cornerback, one of them was a receiver, one of them was an offensive tackle, and one of them was a tight end.
Flowers is since 2008? No, that's before 2008.
No. He was since 2008. Eric Flowers counts. That's one.
Really? What year was it? 2009 or something?
It was like 2010 or 11. Later on. Yeah.
Okay, so that's Eric Flowers.
Yep.
No, was Philip Dorsett a first rounder for New England?
Philip Dorsett, the last receiver that was a first rounder at Miami.
My God, yeah. No, Belichick is just really stupid with receivers. He really. Oh, that's a good one, Chad and Njoku.
Yep. That's one. Right. That's 5. That's 5.
So
we're down.
How many
do
we have left?
We got one more. The cornerback.
You cheated? Oh, just say it. Artie Burns. Oh my God, Pittsburgh. Yes.
So, when I tell you that, and you think about, go back to 2008 and say those are Miami's 6 first-round picks. What does that tell you?
Yeah, no, it's bad. It hasn't been. Yeah, no, it hasn't been anything like.
It's startling, right? It's just like, God, man, like it's been such a bad run for them,
and a couple of mediocre first rounders there too.
Yeah, I mean, which of those guys is a star, right?
Yeah. Wow.
That's the kind of hole Mario is in, trying to change that much.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Sean? In 15, right? Go ahead.
In 15 and 21, that was 4 of those 6 picks. Those 2 drafts had 2 first-round picks from each.
Yep.
Oh.
So
wow. So it's 2 years mostly that had most of those picks out of since 2008.
Since 2008, there's only been 4 years where you've had first-round picks.
Wow. Yeah, that's bad.
And I'll tell you, you compare it to the rest of the ACC. My colleague Carlos asked me on the podcast. He goes, "Where does that rank in the ACC?" I go, "I'll just say Louisville's ahead of Miami with more first-round picks. NC State,
FSU,
Clemson, Florida State. I mean, you can go through the list. It's pretty embarrassing."
That's bad, dude. Yeah, things haven't been good down here for a while, man. Big time. He's got a lot of work to do and to improve it. Overall, I'm with you there. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. So you can get great info and insight as always, and subscribe to The Athletic. Manny, have a great weekend, my friend. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
You too, brother. I'll see you.
Thank you, sir. There you go. I am so glad we had him on. By the way, remember Caneswear, use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off. If you go online and you order over $99, you will get free shipping, and you can use our code BIGO10 to get 10% off. So that's a double whammy. If you go in personally and you go see them there at 2566 South University Drive in Davie, right next to La Spada, well, then you can use our code BIGO10 so you can get 10% off at Caneswear.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
A ride. I was dying to have Manny on because that's an angle nobody talked about. The Manny Diaz angle. And I don't know if it makes you feel any better. Maybe it doesn't. I don't care. Whatever. But Manny Diaz has a track record of knowing his defensive ends. Okay? He knows defense, dude. He can coach up defense. I don't want him anywhere near my team as a head coach. Okay? Maybe he might be a good head coach in a few more years with more experience. Maybe he was too young or wasn't ready for it. Who knows? But at the moment, I know this. He can be my defensive coordinator anytime. And when you start thinking about the defensive ends, he has an eye for it. He must know something about this kid because he's been working with him for the last couple of years. You know? So I'm just wanted to throw that angle out there because I don't think anybody mentions that angle. You know? How does Cam Kitchens have any comparison to Chop? My point is, a lot of times you draft players all throughout the draft because you love. Okay, here's the analogy. All right, so Sean, you went to law school. And, you know, you interned and you did, you worked on some cases as a researcher and you did all that. And then a firm wants to hire you. Are you a good lawyer at that point? At that point.
I am, but most people know.
Exactly. Right. Okay. But I'm saying
normal
right. people.
No, we're not.
Not Sean Stanley. Normal people like me, okay, you're not a good lawyer. You're not there yet, but they see the potential. They saw the grades, the work ethic. They saw some of the stuff you did as a researcher, some of the stuff you did on your own, you know, small, cases and all that. And they said, okay, this is a guy or a woman we can groom for bigger cases, corporate cases, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? You get out of medical school, are you a finished and perfect doctor? There's no freaking way. And so we're all hired on potential. You do know that, right? Like when I first got to radio, the first week of radio, do you think I could sit and do what I do every day now for 2-3 hours and flow? In fact, there are people that are doing radio for 5, 10, and 20 years and still can't do what I do without breaking every 10 minutes for 8 more minutes. Okay? So you think I can do this 34 years ago? But somebody hired me and said, okay, he's got potential. He can grow into this. I can make him a producer, then I can make him an update guy, and then I can make him a co-host, and then I can make him a host. You know, because that's kind of how it goes. So Chop Robinson, and of course, it doesn't matter who it is, Cam Kitchens or ever. Nobody is pretty much drafted and, oh, this guy's a finished product. We're ready to go. Let's take off. No, you're Drew Brees. You're going to have warts. You're going to go through hell. And then the light's going to go on, and then you're year 5 and you're off and running. And you finally figured it out. But somebody drafted you on potential in the late first round or early second, was it? Yeah, late first, early second, whatever the hell it was. You see what I'm saying? So that's where Chop Robinson and Cam Kitchens and not Chop and Orlando Alzagari and the rest of us have in common. You're never hired as a finished product, but I don't know where this attitude comes from with you people. Was Jason Taylor the Hall of Famer when he got out of Akron? Or was he a skinny kid that was getting run over and was pushed around by tackles and was getting banged up and you know, he had to kind of grow into the position? Oh, yeah, exactly. He had to grow into the position. Zach Sealer was on somebody's practice squad. Christian Wilkins was a bust for a lot of you the first year. You know, a lot of you that wanted Christian Wilkins back, and you're pissed at the team that they didn't sign him and they didn't give him $30 million a year, and yada 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 yada. Half those people are the people that used to rip the shit out of Christian Wilkins after year one. I heard it all the time. All the time. Oh, what a wasted pick! Oh, can we let the kid grow? He's not a finished product. Perspective. It's what we do here. You know, instead of you trapped in your closed-minded ways of looking at it, we're going to open your mind and show you other things so you can kind of, okay, well, then maybe I can, you know, I'm not that convinced about Chop, but hey, dude, that Manny Diaz point, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so the Dolphin people like him, and you hear good reports, but Manny Diaz has an eye for defensive ends. It's what we do here. We give you a perspective on this kind of stuff so you can look at it a little different. So that way you're not panicking about a cap crisis when there is no cap crisis. They hit on a lot of picks 2 years in a row. There's no way you're re-signing all of them. So they've decided to only sign the quarterback this year, and then the next wave of players are the ones they're signing. That's what's happening. It's not a cap crisis. It's fiscal decisions that you have to make. But in the short term, I can call it a cap crisis because it sells papers. It gets clicks. It gets you pissed off. So it fills the agenda of the media, even if it's misinformed and wrong. Anyway, Big O, been a Heat season ticket holder since 2003. The playoff game is Saturday, and so the Panthers versus Lightning game in Tampa, logistics are there. I can attend the road playoff game on my bucket list. There you go. Good for you, Anthony. And I know you're hardcore, so I know you're going to love that. If you study psychologically and get your doctorate, you still a far away finish from a doctor in the field. Yeah, of course. And if you study psychology, are you going to be a great psychologist right from the get-go? No, dude. And are you going to be a great teacher when you get out of school and you go to your first classroom? No. They hired you on potential. And then now you will grow into hopefully being a great teacher. It's funny how, again, everything that we do, and then we treat these players completely by a different standard. We're not finished products, but they must be. We can fight through injuries and rehab, but they can't. They should quit, but we don't quit. It's interesting. I should tell Alan Blanco, oh, he tore a ligament off his quit, bro. Quit. Sell 3A graphics. Muzi, thank you for the love on the super chat, my brother. Very nice of you. We appreciate it immensely. I get it. People wanted to draft an O-lineman. I'm all for protecting Tua, but I'm also tired of giving up 40 points to the Bills and Ravens every year. I'm 100% on board with this pick, and you got to get after the quarterback. So, anyway. Got to be honest, I was underwhelmed with the Chop pick. Well, Troy, negative? Yeah. It'll be news when you're positive, Troy. Anyway, ruined my night, wanted us to fix the O-line and get Barton. There are far too many fair-weather fans in general. These are the same people that can or won't think long-term in financial or other avenues, limited intelligence and immediate satisfaction. Yeah, it is the microwave society. Brett, you're a freaking monster. You nailed it. It's all about the microwave society. So, Big O, our wide receiver replacing Jason Sanders. I think we can sign you with a broken foot or Ray Finkel. Yeah, Jason Sanders and Cameron, what is it? The tight end that's been living here forever. Tanner Connor. Those two guys have been stealing money without a gun and a mask. Like, this is amazing. They're going on 3 years of just making it on the practice squad. That's beautiful, bro. Isn't it like 4.5 years for a pension? Or 5? You got to start. Well, but wait a minute. Does it count on the I don't know if it counts. I don't know all the rules in the practice squad, if that counts as a year of tenure. But these dudes are pretty close to a pension. If they could just make a roster for a year or two, and if those other years count, they're going to have pensions. Two guys that have done absolutely jack shit. That's amazing. Wes Schaefer says, with both starters probably won't be ready until midseason, Chop will be starting game 1. The following season, they will release Chubb, and Chop will be his replacement. You never know. I can't argue with intelligent fans. When you bring something, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it's a super intelligent point. So, Wes, we need more of you, buddy. We need more of you. Logical suggestions and conversations. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. By the way, we thank Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, all the great people out here, and Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, Mr. Zinn, of course, that has been a proud sponsor of our program, and we love it, and we appreciate it immensely. Of course, they've got great deals going on. The Spring into Performance Sales event. I mean, the lot is just overflowing, folks. So you can come on out here and pick the car you want, the color you want, the style you want. The RZX, by the way, the electric car, starting on Monday, you can sign up for it already. So if you want to start reserving your RZX and get the electric SUV that is coming, I will get mine in early 2025. Can't wait to get mine, baby. That's going to be a lot of fun to get mine, man. That is going to be fantastic. And it'll be close to because my Camry's 2020. So I think my buying of the car will be up because I think it's like a 5 or 6 year payments. So it'll be pretty close when I turn it in. Yes, sir.
So on that, it's they must have at least 3 accrued seasons in the league on the 53-man roster.
Oh, 53. Okay. So
elevated from the practice squad, IR or PUP for 3 regular season or playoff games in 1 season.
Oh, okay.
So now I don't know if
I don't know about Sanders or Connor 3 games each.
I don't know about 3. I think it was 2 last year.
Yeah, maybe 2.
4.
Maybe 2, but not 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have
They're
not
off a little bit.
Yeah. So they're going to need to really earn their way to get that pension. We thank David Furones and Manny Navarro. Great conversations. We'll be back again tonight, folks. So we're doing a 2-hour gig today. We're not going 3-4 hours today. Tonight we'll be back right after the Dolphins. It's kind of dangerous. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go right on before the second, but knowing Chris Greer, he could end up trading. And I might do 2 shows tonight, so you never know. But anyway, we'll be on tonight. It'll be about 20 minutes prior to our pick. So join us here. Hit the notification bell. That way you know when we're coming on. I appreciate all of you out there. Of course, stay strong, baby. Fins up. Go Heat. Go Panthers. Go InterMiami. We'll see you tonight. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.